Today, in this episode, we're diving into the origins of the pick-me culture, how it developed historically, why it's still embedded in our social expectations, and how it shapes women's identity formation from a young age. We'll explore the pressures to be chosen, the emotional and cultural weight of being unmarried, and the subtle ways this mindset continues to impact the way women define their worth. This is the foundation, the backstory, the first layer of a much deeper conversation, because what we're talking about today needs to be felt to be fully understood. We're diving into something that has shaped women's choices, careers, and identities for generations. Me culture. Take a moment to understand where it comes from. Pick-me culture has become more widely used in recent years, especially online. It started as a way to describe women who tried really hard to be chosen by men, often by putting down other women or going out of their way to appear low maintenance, agreeable, or overly accommodating. But the truth is, this mindset has been around long before we gave it a name. It didn't start with history, with systems that taught women their value was tied to bearable and chosen by a man. Many women's survival was tied to marriage because of legal and economic limits. For example, married women in some states couldn't own property until the mid to late 1800s. In the 20th century, many couldn't open a bank account or get credit without a male co-signer. Marriage wasn't just expected. Women were raised to be chosen. Some, particularly unmarried women, lived a different path. A small but important tangent here, because it's worth pausing on the women often left out of this narrative. Women who owned property or lived independently were often among the few with inherited wealth, education, or family support that made that possible. Some were widowed. Single women have long been viewed as pitiable, suspect, selfish. Their independence wasn't seen as accomplished. She was seen stigma. You hear it in the loaded questions, the subtle pity, the cultural script that whispers, something must be wrong if she's still single. To stand on their own. But that wasn't always the norm. And in married by a certain age, it raised eyebrows. Parents, friends were getting married, and they didn't want to be the last one single in the group. There's a quiet pressure, especially in certain age brackets, that makes women feel like they have something to prove. Not because their desirability is fading, but because they want to feel accepted. They want to say, I'm married. Acceptance still holds weight in a world that treats partnership like proof of worth. To some, we loved isn't wrong, but when it becomes your measure of value, it distorts everything else. Let's slow down. Weren't raised to dream or lead or build. They were raised